Let me start with a question. Have you ever wondered if something as ordinary as the oil in your frying pan could be quietly shaping the future of your brain? I know, it sounds dramatic, but stick with me. Every 40 seconds, someone in the US has a stroke. That's nearly 800,000 lives every year. Now, of course, some of that is genetics, some of it is age. But here's the surprising truth. Much of it comes down to daily habits, the little things. The butter on your toast, the oil in your skillet, the fats in your cookies. Most people believe protecting their brain means crossword puzzles, memory games, maybe those apps that promise to keep you sharp. And while that's fine, the real battlefield is the kitchen. The fats we eat can either protect our brains like armor or quietly chip away at our blood vessels until one day, well, you get the picture. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 types of fats that hurt your brain and raise your stroke risk. And don't worry, this isn't a guilt trip. My goal isn't to scare you into eating plain lettuce for the rest of your life. It's to give you practical swaps, little nudges that protect your brain without stealing the joy from your food. Think of it as brain insurance, one plate at a time. Let's begin with the worst offender: trans fats. If fats were a crime lineup, trans fats would be the one the detective points to first. Where do you find them? In fried chicken that crunches just a little too perfectly, in golden French fries from a fast food chain, in those pastries that somehow stay soft on a grocery shelf for weeks. Even in margarine, remember when it was advertised as a healthier butter? That was a marketing trick, not science. How are they made? Manufacturers take ordinary vegetable oil and pump hydrogen through it. This process makes the oil solid at room temperature, great for food preservation, disastrous for your arteries. Here's the science in plain English. Trans fats ignite inflammation. They scrape the inside lining of your arteries like sandpaper on a water pipe. They raise your bad cholesterol, LDL, while lowering your good cholesterol, HDL. That's the double punch. And with time, it's like slowly pouring cement into your blood vessels. Less space for blood to flow, more chance of a clot. Want numbers? A study in neurology tracked over 1,600 older adults. Those with higher blood levels of trans fats had 50% higher risk of dementia. 50. That's not just forgetting where you left your keys. That's the slow unraveling of the brain's wiring. So think about this. Every bite of that donut fried in reused oil is like tossing another log onto a fire of inflammation inside your brain. Doesn't sound so tasty anymore, does it? What's the fix? First, labels. If you see partially hydrogenated oil, put it back. Don't be fooled by 0 grams trans fat. That can still mean up to half a gram per serving. And who eats just 1 serving of cookies? Better option? If you crave crunch roast or air fry vegetables, grab a handful of nuts. Still crunchy, far kinder to your arteries. Think of it as swapping a saboteur for a bodyguard. Now let's talk about fats we all secretly love. The juicy steak, the sizzling bacon, the buttery croissant that flakes perfectly in your hand. They taste wonderful, no denying that. But too much saturated fat is like inviting a permanent traffic jam into your bloodstream. Here's the deal. Saturated fats are mainly in red meat, butter, cream, cheese, lard, and tropical oils like palm oil. Eat a lot of these, and your LDL cholesterol, the bad guy, rises. That LDL builds up inside blood vessels, narrowing the space where blood flows. Imagine squeezing a garden hose. The pressure rises, the flow weakens, and sooner or later, something bursts. For your brain, that can mean a stroke. Here's a powerful stat. A review in the British Medical Journal found that replacing just 5% of your daily calories from saturated fat with healthier fats cut stroke risk by almost 20%. That's the difference between eating butter on toast every morning and swapping it for a drizzle of olive oil a few times a week. Let me give you a picture. Imagine your bloodstream is a busy city. Oxygen and nutrients are cars moving quickly to deliver supplies. When you eat excess saturated fat, it's like sending a fleet of heavy trucks into that city. Traffic slows, accidents pile up, gridlock happens, and your brain, it's waiting for oxygen that just can't get through. The fix? You don't need to ditch steak forever, Moderation is the word. Try leaner cuts of meat. Save the creamy sauces for special occasions. Experiment with meatless Mondays. Lentils, beans, or chickpeas can step in for protein without bringing cholesterol baggage. And butter? Use olive oil more often. A drizzle on roasted veggies can be just as satisfying. Your arteries will thank you, and trust me, your brain will too. Now let's move to fats with a tricky reputation. Omega-6 fatty acids. They're essential. Your body actually needs them. The problem is quantity. Modern diets have tipped the balance so far that what was once helpful now fuels the fire. Where do omega-6s live? In vegetable oils like corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil. They sneak into salad dressings, mayonnaise, crackers, processed snacks, even your French fries. If you eat a typical Western diet, you're probably getting way too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3. Why does that matter? Because omega-6 and omega-3 are like siblings. Omega-3 calms inflammation. Omega-6 stirs it up. In a balanced ratio, they work beautifully. But the modern diet often gives us 20 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3. Ideally, it should be more like 4 to 1 or even 2 to 1, and studies back this up. Research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people with high omega-6 to omega-3 ratios had more inflammation and more cardiovascular problems. Too many chips, not enough salmon. Here's an image. Your brain is like a campfire. Omega-6 is the wood. Omega-3 is the water bucket. Too much wood, not enough water, and the fire blazes out of control. That fire. Chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation is the enemy of your brain. The fix? Don't cut omega-6 completely. You still need it. Just rebalance. Swap refined oils for extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Add more omega-3 foods, salmon, mackerel, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds. Even a spoonful of ground flax in your morning oatmeal is a win. It's all about tipping the scale back in your brain's favor. Now, here's one you probably don't hear at the dinner table: oxidized LDL. We all know LDL is the bad cholesterol, but when it gets oxidized, damaged by oxygen, it becomes downright nasty. Think of it as rust in your bloodstream. Normal LDL is bad enough, but oxidized LDL sticks to your artery walls like sludge. It sparks inflammation, it hardens into plaque, and over time, those blood vessels turn into clogged, rigid pipes. Blood struggles to get through, and your brain pays the price. Where does it come from? Reused oils are the biggest culprit. That fryer at your favorite fast food joint? It's used again and again until the oil turns dark and sticky. Every bite of fries or fried chicken cooked in that oil delivers oxidized fats straight to your bloodstream. Old animal fats sitting in your fridge too long can also oxidize. A study in atherosclerosis found that people with high levels of oxidized LDL had a much higher risk of stroke and cognitive decline, even if their cholesterol looked normal. So it's not just the amount of cholesterol, it's the quality. The fix? Limit fast food fried in mystery oil. Cook at home with fresh oils. Add antioxidant-rich foods like berries, leafy greens, green tea. Antioxidants act like tiny bodyguards, preventing LDL from rusting. Imagine 2 water pipes in your house. One is clean and shiny. The other is corroded with rust. Which one would you rather depend on? Your arteries deserve the clean version. And finally, hydrogenated oils. These are the fats that give margarine its spreadability, that make packaged cookies so flaky that keep processed foods fresh for months. Sounds convenient. But for your brain? It's a trap. Hydrogenated oils are loaded with trans fats. And remember, even if the label says 0 grams, that can still mean up to ½ a gram per serving. Eat a few cookies, a slice of pie, some margarine on your toast, and suddenly you've eaten several grams without realizing it. What's worse, these fats don't just raise bad cholesterol. They lower good cholesterol too. That's the double whammy. Fewer good guys sweeping the arteries, more bad guys clogging them up. Recipe for inflammation, clots, and strokes. According to the journal Circulation, diets high in hydrogenated oils increase the risk of ischemic stroke, the kind caused by a blood clot blocking flow to the brain. Imagine spreading margarine on your toast. You might think it's harmless, maybe even healthier than butter. But over time, you're feeding your arteries sludge disguised as food. The fix? Choose natural spreads like avocado or nut butter. Look for non-hydrogenated on labels, or even better, make your own baked goods at home with whole ingredients. That way, you control what goes in. Here's the bottom line. Every spread, every drizzle, every bite sends a message to your brain. Margarine says, "I don't care about tomorrow." Olive oil says, "I've got your back." Which message do you want to send? Now that we've exposed the villains, the fats that clog, inflame, and sabotage your brain, let's turn to the heroes. Because here's the wonderful part. Not all fats are bad. In fact, some are absolutely essential for your brain to thrive. They fuel memory, protect blood vessels, and even help you feel sharper as you age. So if the first half of our talk felt a bit heavy, take a deep breath. This next part is the hopeful one. These are the oils and fats that can actually become your allies, your brain's secret defense system. And the best news? They taste amazing. If I could put one nutrient on a pedestal for brain health, it would be omega-3 fatty acids. These are the fats your brain absolutely loves. Why? Because they're literally part of its structure. Your brain cell membranes are made of them. Without omega-3s, those membranes become stiff, like old rubber bands. With them, they stay flexible, allowing signals to pass smoothly from one cell to the next. You'll find omega-3s in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring. For plant-based options, look at chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. What do? They calm inflammation, improve blood flow, and prevent platelets from clumping together. That lowers your risk of clots, the kind that can block blood flow to the brain. A massive study in stroke, Journal of the American Heart Association, followed more than 70,000 people. Those who regularly ate omega-3 rich fish had a significantly lower risk of both ischemic stroke from clots and hemorrhagic stroke from bleeding. Think of omega-3s as oiling the gears of a machine. Without them, the gears grind, spark, and break down. With them, the whole system hums along smoothly. Practical steps? Aim for fish twice a week. If you don't like fish, sprinkle chia seeds on oatmeal, blend flaxseed into smoothies, or snack on walnuts. You don't need massive amounts. Even small, steady intake builds up like bricks in a wall of protection. And here's something fascinating. Some research suggests omega-3s may slow age-related cognitive decline. Imagine being 70 and still remembering names, faces, and stories with clarity. Not because of luck, but because you consistently fed your brain what it needed. That's the gift of omega-3s. Next, let's talk about monounsaturated fats. If omega-3s are the warriors defending your brain, monounsaturated fats are the gentle cleaners sweeping out the mess. They lower LDL cholesterol, the bad guy, and raise HDL cholesterol, the good guy. Where do you find them? In olive oil, avocados, almonds, cashews, and peanuts. If you've ever drizzled extra virgin olive oil on a salad or spread avocado on toast, you've tasted their power. Why do they matter? Because they help your arteries stay open, flexible, and clean. When blood flows freely, your brain gets the oxygen it needs. Clear arteries mean less risk of clots and sharper memory. There's real science here, too. A long-term study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who ate diets high in monounsaturated fats had lower rates of stroke and memory loss. These aren't small effects, they're protective shields. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your arteries as city streets. LDL cholesterol is the trash piling up on sidewalks. HDL cholesterol is the garbage truck that clears it away. Monounsaturated fats don't just stop more trash from piling up. They actually send in more trucks. Cleaner streets mean smoother traffic, and smoother traffic means your brain stays sharp. Easy swaps? Use olive oil instead of butter for cooking. Snack on a handful of almonds instead of chips. Slice avocado onto your sandwich. Tiny adjustments, but they add up into decades of healthier brain circulation. Now let's turn to polyunsaturated fats. They don't always get the spotlight, but they quietly support your heart and brain at the same time. You'll find them in sunflower oil, flaxseed oil, soybean oil, walnuts, and sunflower seeds. These fats are essential, meaning your body can't make them. You have to get them from food. What do? They lower total cholesterol and triglycerides, fats in the blood that, in excess, raise stroke risk. A study in the journal Stroke followed adults over 60. Those who ate more polyunsaturated fats had fewer blood clots, less narrowing of the arteries, and lower stroke risk. Think of them as a steady maintenance crew, keeping everything running in the background so your brain can focus on more important things, like memory, attention, and problem solving. How to use them. Drizzle flaxseed oil over steamed vegetables. Add sunflower seeds to your yogurt. Toss walnuts into oatmeal. None of this feels like dieting. It feels like flavor. But behind the scenes, you're quietly building resilience for your brain. Here's a fun one you might not expect. Medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. Most fats take a long route in digestion before your body can use them. MCTs, they're different. Your body turns them directly into energy, fast. That makes them a quick-burning fuel, especially for your brain. Where do you find them? Mostly in coconut oil, especially virgin coconut oil. Why are they special? Because as we age, our metabolism slows down. The brain sometimes struggles to use glucose efficiently, its usual fuel. But MCTs provide an alternative. They give the brain energy directly, like a backup generator kicking in during a power outage. Research in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience suggests MCTs may improve cognitive function in people with mild memory issues. They also help reduce oxidative stress, that internal rusting that accelerates aging in the brain. Think of MCTs as a spark plug. They don't replace the whole engine, but they give it that extra kick to run smoothly. How to use them? Add a teaspoon of virgin coconut oil to your morning coffee or smoothie. Use it for light cooking or stir it into oatmeal. The key word is moderation. Coconut oil is still calorie-dense, but a little can act as a gentle brain boost. Finally, let's talk about a group of fats most people overlook. Phospholipids. They're the literal building blocks of your brain's cell membranes. Without them, brain cells struggle to communicate. With them, signals move smoothly, memory sharpens, and mood steadies. Where do you find them? In egg yolks and soy products like tofu, edamame, and soy milk. And yes, I know, egg yolks used to get a bad rap. But science has moved on. The cholesterol in eggs doesn't harm most people the way once believed, and the phospholipids inside are gold for your brain. A study in Nutrients found that phospholipids, especially phosphatidylserine, improve memory, attention, and mood in older adults. Think of them as insulation on electrical wires. Without insulation, wires spark and misfire. With it, electricity flows smoothly. That's what phospholipids do for your neurons. So next time you make breakfast, don't toss the yolk. That golden center is packed with the very nutrients your brain needs. If you enjoy soy milk or tofu, those count too. Simple everyday foods, nothing exotic or expensive, that quietly rebuild the structure of your brain cells. We've come full circle. In the first half, we met the villains: trans fats, saturated fats, omega-6 imbalance, oxidized LDL, hydrogenated oils. In the second half, we met the heroes: omega-3s, monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, MCTs, and phospholipids. The lesson? Your brain's future isn't set in stone. Every bite you take sends a message. Some foods whisper, "Let's build plaque." Others whisper, "Let's protect you." And the beautiful truth is, you don't need perfection. You don't need to purge every bad fat from your life or live on kale smoothies. What matters is tipping the scale in your brain's favor. Start with one swap. Margarine for olive oil, fries for walnuts, a weekly serving of salmon, an egg yolk instead of just the whites. These tiny shifts add up slowly, quietly, powerfully. Remember, your brain is alive. It's always adapting, always responding. It wants to heal, to strengthen, to stay sharp. And with the right fats on your plate, you give it the tools to do just that. So here's my challenge for you. This week, pick one change, just one, and see how it feels. Maybe it's choosing olive oil instead of butter, or sprinkling flaxseed into your breakfast. Small steps, but big, lasting protection. If this conversation made you think differently about fats, share it with someone you care about. Because protecting your brain isn't just about you. It's about giving your loved ones more years of laughter, more shared stories, more moments that matter. And if you're still here with me, that already tells me something important. You care. You value your health, and that in itself is powerful. Keep going. Your brain deserves it,